Hello, sweet friend. I just come from the doctor's office. It's actually about noon on Wednesday. No, noon on Tuesday. It was my primary care doctor, and I had a whole list of questions for him, but the purpose of the visit was to do a check on see how I was handling the bupropion. But we had already kind of covered that back and forth in the patient portal, so we really didn't even discuss that much. He asked me how I was doing. I said fine. And he said it's just going to take a little longer to see the positive effects of it because of the dosage, but that's okay. Excuse me. Okay, so let's address the. I have a cough drop in my mouth, and I'm clearing my throat. I don't know if it's been in many of my videos, but for the last 2 months, I've had a tickle in my throat that it just, I call it a chronic tickle because it won't go away. My throat sometimes itches really bad, which I assumed was allergies, but it hasn't gone away. I mean, it's been consistent for at least 2 months, probably more than that, because sometimes a problem's a problem before you don't realize it's a problem and you don't pay attention to it until it gets to the point where you can't ignore it anymore. Unfortunately, my sinuses are unhappy right now, and so that's also causing coughing because of sinus drainage. I asked him about the tickle, and he said, well, let's give you a Z-Pak to eliminate any possible sinus drainage that could be causing it, and if it's still a problem, then we will refer you to the ear, nose, and throat. But he looked at my throat, he did his exam, he's like, oh, your throat's red and irritated. Yes it is. Thank you for confirming what I just told you. I really like this doctor, don't get me wrong. He's a newer doctor. He's a young guy, but I really like him. He listens. He answers my questions. He doesn't act like I'm dumb. So, I guess I told him, I said I'm going to buy stock in Ricola because the only way to not have that tickle is to have a cough drop in my mouth or water, which isn't realistic. I also wanted him to explain to me. So I have been extremely tired lately, like some days not even able to just do anything. And to me, anytime that's ever happened, it's been thyroid or iron. So I was looking at all my test results for the last, I went back to September of 2023 and then up till March when they just did some blood work, and I compared my numbers, and none of my numbers are like crazy except for my thyroid. My thyroid in September last year was 5, and then it went up to 11, and then it went up to 15, and then it went back down. No, it was 5, and then it skyrocketed to 15, went down to 11, and then 9, and then from 9, which is, you're not supposed to be over 5. If you're over 5, then they have to give you more thyroid medicine. It dropped from 9 to 0.04. And then the next one was 0.03. And so that was one thing. And I'm like, why would it go so high and then so low? He said, well, maybe it spontaneously started working. I'm like, have you ever heard of that? He's like, I have seen one person. I've had one patient like that. I'm like, okay, well, I guess time will tell. My thyroid doctor asked me if I was taking a biotin supplement because biotin can cause a false low on your thyroid test. I'm like, no, I don't take biotin. I take ashwagandha and B and D and C and, those things, but I don't take biotin. So I don't know what's going on with my thyroid. And we talked about, I said, well, I know that there's some red markers for my kidney function, and for my spleen is slightly enlarged, and then yeah, it's my kidneys, my spleen, and just some things. And so we talked about each one of those, and he says, well, yes, I see that these are marked as red, as in warning, but none of the levels are at a cause for we need to do further investigation, which is why nobody seems to care. I asked him, I said, why isn't this part of the problem? I'm so tired. Why isn't somebody delving deeper into this? And he said, well, like your spleen, it's slightly elevated. It could be because you have a sinus infection, which doesn't make any sense because other than last night and today, I haven't had very much drainage. I manage it between, I take an antihistamine and another decongestant called Montelukast. It's managed for the most part. My spleen wouldn't have been enlarged March 4th, which is when that test was done. It's March 19th. But what do I know? So he said that it's not enlarged to the point, so it's 13.7. If it was significantly bigger, then yes, we would have to do some investigation. There would be a problem. Same with my kidneys. Whatever levels they have are your body's trying to do things. Most of the things that you have, according to our test, your body's doing what it's supposed to do, and it's doing it fine. I said, well, my iron saturation has gone down again. It went from 20, which was below the normal accepted level, and now it's down to 15. I said, but my level of iron is... So the range is from 50 to 220, I guess, and mine, the last test, was 70. So I said it's on the low end of normal, and he said, well, I guess you could call it the low end of normal. I'm like, well, it's certainly not anywhere near the high end. He said, but you have iron. The other numbers indicate your body's processing everything correctly. I said, well, then why is saturation low? Is my body not absorbing it the way it's supposed to? He said, no, it doesn't seem to be the case. He said, if there was cause for concern, or there would be cause for concern if your iron level dropped again and your saturation was low. I'm like, okay, so just because I have this one thing that's out of whack, we just don't really worry about it. My question to him was, why are these things being ignored? Because no doctor that I talked to, they're like, yeah, that's it, we'll watch it. I'm like, but what's causing it? And they just, I don't know, they don't seem to care. And I guess they surely don't care unless it causes a problem. But I'm like, if it's going to cause a problem and we can stop it now, why don't we? I said, well, if my kidneys are okay and my thyroid is working overtime and my liver is, everything is acceptable, why am I so tired? And he said, well, it could be because it's probably because your thyroid is so out of whack. He said it probably feels like you're running a marathon every day because your thyroid is working so hard at what it's doing. The medication that we've given it has told it to do stuff that it doesn't need to do right now. And so he said your body's running a marathon trying to get this thyroid to do what the medicine is telling it to do. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, well, we'll roll with that. I don't understand how my thyroid could fix itself, maybe. And if it didn't fix itself, why did it go from so high to so low? But I don't feel like I'm going to get any answers. It's not drastic enough, I guess, for anybody to be like, oh, well, we need this for this reason, or this is causing this. But he did say that that's why I'm so tired. And I'm like, okay. I knew that the tiredness that I was feeling was either a thyroid level imbalance or an iron imbalance. And I knew my thyroid was supposed to be, it's like working better than it's supposed to. So that would make me think that I would have more energy than I'm supposed to. But in fact, no. So that's my story today. I'm gonna go ahead and take a nap. And the only thing I can do about my thyroid levels is reduce the medication, wait a month, take a new test. Reduce the medication, wait a month, take a new test. And I'm like, well, the last test was down from 9 to 0.4, and then it went down to 0.3, so it's still going too far. I'm like, why don't we just stop the medicine and see what's actually going on? I think I should ask my doctor, the doctor that monitors my thyroid, because she's a specialist. I'm like, I wanted to just like, why can't we just wait and see what my body's actually doing? A lot of the problem is because of my weight. These things are just part of that. You know, your numbers are going to be a little bit different with the more you weigh, the longer you are overweight. Anyway, oh, and they increased my metformin. I have extended release metformin, which is slow release, and I was taking 1 pill a day, 500, whatever the milligrams, whatever it is, 500. And my blood sugar was starting to creep up just a little bit, which could be another reason I'm feeling tired. And I asked about increasing my metformin, and so they said take 1 pill twice a day. No instructions on when to take it. And I know that if I take, for example, if I do my iron half an hour after my thyroid, say take your thyroid in the morning with nothing. You have to wait minimum 30 minutes to eat, 30 minutes for anything. But if you take your iron less than 5 hours from your thyroid medicine, it can affect it. You know, I'm not doing that. It can cause the medication to not work. So mine's working too well. So I asked the doctor, I'm like, when am I supposed to actually take this? And he said, you can take metformin whenever you want. It doesn't, it's not going to impact anything that's going on. I'm like, okay, so it's not going to affect my thyroid or, you know, whatever. He's like, no, you're fine. That's me, friend. I pray that you are healthy and happy, and if you have something going on medically, that you can get the answers that you need. Friend, I pray that you are an advocate for yourself, and that if you're concerned, that you speak up, and if you don't get the answer that you want, that you find another doctor, ask someone else. Excuse me. I pray, friend, that you are able to find a spot of sun to sit in and just soak up the loveliness that is the sun. Without the sun, we wouldn't be able to live. It's just beautiful. Friend, I hope and pray that you are blessed with all that God has for you. And I ask in Jesus' name for his will to be done in all things, in all ways, in all places, in all times. I'll see you again as soon as I can. Bye.